against the 2 seed Texas in the Sweet 16. And those two have seen each other before in the Sweet 16, and they're set to go at it again. That game coming up on Friday. For Miller, 7th straight win in the round of 32. Only head coach with a longer streak of Dean Smith, Mike Krzyzewski, and John Calipari. As mentioned, that game Friday in Kansas City. Don't forget to download the March Madness Live app. It allows you to stream every game from your phone, tablet, computer, or your favorite streaming device. And, of course, watch the Eye on College basketball as well. And for more on this game, let's now welcome in CBS Sports college basketball analyst Tim Doyle. Tim, we'll get your reacts. I mean, this was a great game by Xavier. Really were not too troubled in this matchup, and they are advancing to the Sweet 16.
You know, they played free. They played loose. They are an experienced bunch. Go through their starting lineup, Jeremy. 4 seniors there. And they had to have this mentality of, we're still playing? Like, this is amazing. We should have lost our first round game to Kennesaw State because they were outplayed for 30-plus minutes in that game and trailed by double digits under the 10-minute mark. But a 15-0 run. They showed their strength, their defensive intensity picked up, and now they play Pittsburgh today, first game of the day, the standalone game in the NCAA tournament, and they looked relaxed, didn't they? Shot the ball nearly 50%. The ball was moving around. I know the final score says 11. It actually wasn't even that close. This game was never competitive, and give Sean Miller credit. The Lazarus of college basketball, back from the dead, on the sidelines. He experienced some adversity this year with Zach Fremantle going out for the rest of the year with a foot injury, and this team has bounced back. They're not very deep, but what they have is experience. They have culture, and that game against Texas is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and for Miller, I mean, he beats his alma mater. I mean, he graduated from Pitt in 1992, played three NCAA tournaments, 4 years with that team. So there was that storyline certainly coming into this game. He makes his 8th Sweet 16 appearance in his career as a head coach. Tim, was that the biggest difference in the game for you, the fact that Xavier just shot so well and got basically contributions from all over the court?
You know, they just look relaxed. And I think that happens when you have that really close game. I think we saw it with Tennessee. You know, Tennessee was kind of life and death to hold on against Louisiana, and they looked more relaxed yesterday against Duke than Duke did because Duke was so great in the first round against Oral Roberts that there's almost like a pressure on the other team. Now, Pittsburgh overachieved. They came out of nowhere, one of the last 4 in. Some people were saying they shouldn't even be in. Capel's done a remarkable job there. They had a really solid year. But this came down to an experienced group that shares the basketball. They're older. That's what you're going to see. This is what you're going to start seeing in the tournament. Older teams winning. And the 1s, the 2s, get used to this as well. That's going to keep happening every year. They're going to keep on losing because the parity, teams are so close right now that if you have that continuity, not just on the offensive end, on the defensive end, if everyone's able to be on the same page, man, that's a huge advantage because so many teams are like fucking guys here and there, and like you never know if they're going to gain that chemistry. Now, Xavier had that huge injury I talked about, but it gave them enough time for everyone to settle into their roles. And you saw a video that went viral of Boom and Kunkel yelling at each other, pushing at each other, because older guys understand what it takes to win this time of year. I thought this game, they looked relaxed. They executed. They shot nearly 50%. They dominated the glass. I know the numbers aren't going to show that because Pittsburgh had a lot of offensive rebounds late in the game. But this was total, utter domination. They led by as many as 20, and the game was not competitive.
I mean, Xavier had 43 total rebounds. Pitt had 41. So to your point, Tim, doesn't necessarily show that, the board dominance. But here they go off to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017. Based on how they're playing right now, what you saw today, how far can they realistically go?
I think they could beat Texas. Now, I have them matched up with each other in my own individual bracket, and I, like everybody else, have a lot wrong in my bracket, okay? But I do care this right now. Texas has great guards. And, you know, Dylan Dessou played as well as anybody last out for Texas when they just slipped on by Penn State. Can Xavier beat Texas? Absolutely. They're going to need game 2 performance. If they show up and play how they did against Kennesaw State, they're going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. Texas has great guards, experienced guards, guys that have been in college 3 or 4 years. So you start kind of lining up the rosters. you see a lot of similarities. Older guys, experienced guys, might end up coming down to, depth. That's one thing I think Texas has a bit of advantage at. I think they're a little bit deeper, especially at the guard position. Xavier got outstanding contributions. Talked about 5 starters in double figures. Look at their bench. Claude came off the bench as well and gave them double figures. So 6 Xavier players win double figures. If they can replicate, if they can just bottle up this Pittsburgh game and play it against Texas, they're good enough to knock off the Longhorns. But Jeremy, I need my bracket in place. I expect this spread to be Texas probably be 2.5 in this game. They should be favorite, but this is one of those games that is just like a complete jump ball. Whoever goes out there and plays their best basketball on that particular day is going to win. I don't think there's a variance in talent. Like if they played 10 times, they would probably split 5-5. But I have Texas winning. I think Dessous is the difference down low.
Split their Sweet 16 history. Tim, you talk about that early line there. Do you think that's a line that's where it's going to settle, or do you think it'll start there and maybe just shift a little bit?
Don't you? You like when I get the hands out, huh? Oh, 2.5, huh? Yeah, I mean, that's how I like to gamble. I like to see a game before the lines are set and come up with my own line. I watch all these teams throughout the year, and I did that with the UCLA Northwestern game. That spread should have been around 3.5. The game lands on 5. The spread was actually closer to 8. So, like, when I see a variance that doesn't make sense, well, then that's a time to jump in. You always pay a little bit extra to bet a UCLA or a Duke in the NCAA tournament, just like betting the Cowboys or the Yankees. Like, you pay for that fan experience. These two teams are really close to each other, so I expect it to be like a one possession type of spread. It's a really hard game to handicap. Xavier can definitely 100% beat Texas on their best day. But is it going to be their best day? Because they are fortunate to be even playing in the Sweet 16, because for a better part of 30-plus minutes of that game, Kennesaw State was better. Now Kennesaw State's going 1, 2, 3, Cancun past the daiquiris because they're not playing ball anymore. And Xavier has survived and they have advanced.
He is CBS Sports college basketball analyst Tim Doyle discussing Xavier's big win as they advance to the Sweet 16. They're going to play Texas in Kansas City coming up on Friday. Thanks very much, Tim. Always good to see you. And don't forget to download the March Madness Live app. That allows you to stream every game from your phone, tablet, computer, or your favorite streaming device. It's Tournament on the Go. Download it now.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.